There was a rhythm to Saturday mornings you could almost taste before you opened your eyes. The sizzle of bacon hitting a cast iron skillet, the sweet, powdery smell of Kool-Aid stirred into cold water inside a cloudy plastic pitcher missing its lid. The low, steady hum my mother made as she moved between the stove and the refrigerator, her house dress swaying gently as she worked. We didn't know we were poor. We truly didn't. Not in the heavy, pitiful way that word is used now. We knew the electricity sometimes went out. We knew the cheese arrived wrapped in plain paper from the downtown government office, where my mother stood in line with other women who looked just as tired and just as upright as she did. We knew chicken was fried on Sundays because it made the house smell like a celebration. And because one chicken, if you knew what you were doing, could feed 8 people. The grease jar lived behind the stove, always warm, slowly filling with drippings from every meal. My mother spooned from it into greens, into beans, into the skillet before cornbread batter ever touched the pan. That jar was never questioned. Like the Bible on the coffee table or the portrait of Jesus in the hallway whose eyes followed you. It simply existed. It was part of the kitchen's architecture, part of the logic of making something out of almost nothing. Kool-Aid was our champagne. We wanted it red because of the color, not the flavor. Cherry, strawberry, tropical punch. It didn't matter. It was red, it was sweet, and it waited in that pitcher for you when you came back inside after playing until the streetlights came on. At church picnics, 3 or 4 pitchers lined the folding table. Red, purple, orange. Children circled them like bees, while the women shooed us away until the prayer was finished. Then we drank until our lips were stained and our bellies full. Sundays brought fried chicken, crispy topped macaroni and cheese, ham-softened greens, and golden cornbread that felt separately blessed. When we sat down to eat, the chicken grease was still popping in the pan, and my mother stood there in her good wig, waving smoke away from the detector with a dish towel. The meal was almost the same every week. We didn't get tired of it. Repetition was comfort. It meant there was enough. It meant we were home. No one counted calories. No one read ingredient labels. The box itself was a luxury. It meant you didn't have to make everything from scratch, which meant you had a little more time, a little more money that week. When the government cheese came, my mother sliced it thick and fried it in butter until the edges crisped. We ate it on white bread, with hot sauce, if there was any. It was better than some of the food at school. The older women at church, the mothers and grandmothers who ran the kitchen and arrived at 4 in the morning to start the greens for the afternoon meal, operated with a different kind of knowledge. They knew how to stretch a dollar across 3 days. They knew how to doctor canned vegetables until they tasted freshly picked. They understood that when hunger was the enemy, when the enemy was a child asking for seconds and having to say no, sugar, salt, and fat were not the enemy. Now I walk through grocery stores filled with labels like organic, grass-fed, and artisanal, and I think of my mother standing in that government line. I think of the grease jar. I think about how we fought over the chicken wing because it was small, crispy, and somehow better than the big pieces. We didn't have language for nutrition, but we had language for love. And sometimes love looked like a pitcher of red Kool-Aid and a plate that was never quite full, but always generous. I'm not saying we had everything figured out. I'm not saying those foods didn't come back to haunt us. In doctors' offices, pharmacy lines, and funerals that came too soon. But I am saying we survived. And back then, survival had a taste. Sweet, salty, from, passed down, shared, remembered, and sometimes late at night I can still taste it.